Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson, with some Broncos roster news for everyone today as George Paton went out and signed a linebacker. Finally, Joe Schobert comes over from Pittsburgh last year. We'll break that down for everyone after the Jonas Griffith injury. Plus, some good news on the roster side of things here in terms of injury-wise. Randy Gregory and Billy Turner are off the PUP list. So when breaking news like this happens, roster moves, all that good stuff, we break it down here at the channel, which is why you should go ahead and subscribe. But let's start things off with looking at the latest free agency acquisition. It's Joe Schobert, the linebacker who started his career off with the Cleveland Browns, most recently with the Pittsburgh Steelers, signing with the Broncos. No contract details yet. You can bet it's going to be a one-year vet minimum contract with some incentives, but this is not a big name off the streets, but it is mid-August, so as far as free agents still out there, probably one of the bigger acquisitions. Now, the signing comes, as Ian Rappaport points out, after the Jonas Griffith injury. Sucked to see that happen on Saturday night. He went down with a left elbow injury. I don't have details on the severity of the injury, when he'll be back, how long he'll be out for, but clearly it's going to be long enough for George Paton to go, yep, let's not even wait around to see how the rest of this linebacker room can fill that void. We need to bring someone in with real game experience because we may not have Jonas Griffith back by week 1. Now, I did find this tweet from Vic Lombardi kind of interesting. I just thought it'd be a fun nugget to share with everyone today. Vic saying he played golf with Joe a couple of weeks ago, and he bought a house in the Sedalia area. And this will be his forever home. Desperately wanted to sign with the Broncos. And you know what? You're Joe Schobert. The Broncos were a good odds-on place for a team that would be signing an inside linebacker because that room was already razor thin to begin with. All it took was one injury, and here we are. So let's break this down in a little bit more detail. He played and started in 15 games last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pro Football Focus ranked him 51 out of 87. Now, if you were to ask a Steelers fan, hey, how was Joe Schobert last year? They would probably say, he was past his prime. I kind of compared him to like a Walmart Leighton Vander Esch. He peaked in like 2017 with the Browns, Pro Bowl season early on in his career. He signed a 5-year big-ish contract with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then he got traded after 1 year. It was Urban Meyer, Trent Baalke, new regime. They come in, they clean house on defense. He gets shipped off to Pittsburgh. To me, the other big takeaway from this is probably no Roquan Smith trade. That sucks to see because even though the Broncos were on the outside looking in for even getting a competitive offer together to land the star linebacker, it's likely not going to happen anymore. Now, linebacker stats are always kind of tough to look at because 112 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, you're like, those are good numbers, right? But Joe Schobert last year, he struggled against the run. He was better in pass protection, which doesn't say a ton because he wasn't all that great in coverage, but he missed some tackles. Ultimately, the Steelers were like, yep, we only gave up a 6th-round pick. We needed help at inside linebacker. Did not do enough for any Steeler fan to be like, let's bring him back. But in mid-August, when you got an injury, beggars can't be choosers. So grade the signing for me. What letter grade would you give it? If you're unsure, I'll help you out. I'm going to go B-, right? I don't think it's C. I don't think it's just average. I think for this day and age, for this late in the game and free agency, decent pickup right here in mid-August after the first week of preseason. But no, I don't expect him to come in here and be the best linebacker on this team. My overall takeaway from this signing is we knew Denver was thin at inside linebacker. I've been kind of beating the drum a little bit of, I know we're all banking on Jonas Griffith riding the high and going off the way he ended last year into this year, and Alex Singleton maybe stepping up into a bigger role, and Josie Jewell picking up where he left off back in 2020 after 2021 had his season cut short with a pec injury. But overall, we never really had any concrete backbone of this interior linebacker room of, yep, this is a consistent player, right? A lot of aspirations, and that's fine for inside linebacker in this day and age in football. Because teams aren't running it like they used to. Teams are passing it more. You're seeing more 2 linebacker sets and an extra DB or an extra safety coming on the field. The depth chart will probably look like this come week 1. Jewell and Schobert starting at inside linebacker. I'm guessing when Jonas Griffith returns from the elbow injury, he'll get his job back. But also he wasn't a household name that's going to be able to just demand it back. If Schobert plays well, it'll be his job to lose. Now, we have got some more Broncos news to get to because Randy Gregory and Billy Turner are off the PUP list. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, huge sigh of relief because I was worried that Billy Turner's knee injury, which led to him getting released from Green Bay after failing a physical, would linger into the regular season. Great to see. And then Randy Gregory, who underwent shoulder and knee surgery this offseason, did not participate in any of the offseason workouts, and that was expected, but awesome news to get today because I, for one, was not expecting them to be returning kind of so soon in training camp. Now, let's look at the Randy Gregory side of things first. If he were to have missed, which is not looking like it will be the case, week 1, Baron Browning was awesome against the Cowboys, but I'm guessing Randy Gregory coming off the PUP list on August 15th should get him ready to go by week 1. It's not an absolute guarantee, but it feels more likely than unlikely. Now, last year for the Cowboys, Gregory, in only 12 games, had 6 sacks, but he was one of those stats don't do him justice type of players. If you do the deep dive of the pressures and the hurries he applied on quarterbacks that forced broken plays, that is what George Paton signed up for. And he's hoping he can get that over an entire season stretch right now. Now, if you are ready to see Randy Gregory play, let's show the newcomer some love down in the comments section. Type his jersey number, 5. I don't like this because that's not a defensive end number. This is college football stuff. No, see, producer Jeff is all for this. I, for one, no. Like, that is too weird. My brain can't comprehend number 5 being on the defensive line. But type his jersey number down below. The other PUP news was Billy Turner coming off the PUP list. Now, you might notice this. I don't have him starting at right tackle. I don't think Billy Turner would start at right tackle if week 1 was tomorrow or even this week. Calvin Anderson has held his own so far, and he's shown, you know what? I'm not just going to be a fill-in. I'm going to compete for this starting job here. Now, Turner last year for the Packers was middle of the pack. Unfortunately, that knee injury down the stretch late in the season cut some of his season short. Of course, he started his career with the Broncos, and I think he matured and developed more in Green Bay, cut down on the penalties that were so frustrating at times, and he definitely improved, and now he's coming back to where he started, hopefully a better right tackle. But I can't say he's a starting right tackle for sure. I think we all thought when the signing was made, there's your right tackle that's going to start this year. Not a long-term plan, but Paton could only make so many holes filled on this roster in one draft and free agency. He'll push that problem off until next year. I'll bet you the first player the Broncos pick in the 2023 draft is going to be a right tackle or an inside linebacker, and that's what we saw happen today. But pick a starting right tackle for him. Billy Turner or Calvin Anderson. Put the initials for the guy you think will start week 1 in Seattle down below. I, for one, always kind of assumed once Turner returned, he'll jump right into the first-team offense. Might not be the case, right? Anderson fared well in the Cowboys game. I mean, he wasn't looking like Michael Orr in Blindside driving guys off the field, but he also wasn't he wasn't a suey, right? He wasn't an absolute turnstile and everyone got a shot at Josh Johnson or Brett Rippon. So it will be interesting to see how this right tackle battle plays out for the rest of the preseason and into the regular season. Now, before we get on out of here, I got to give a shout out because with football returning comes predict the scores across the board. And Crossover for Life nailed it on the head. If it was our starters versus their starters, I'd predict 28-10 Broncos. But since it will mostly be second and third stringers playing, I'll say 17-7 still Broncos. So shout out to you, my guy. I know you asked for a PS2 jersey. I can't deliver that, but I can give you some airtime. So congrats on getting the score prediction right on the first game of the season. I mean, it's very hard to get a score prediction right. I, for one, don't love score predictions because it's beyond a crapshoot. I like maybe how much a team will win by, but who knows what's going to come down to. But damn, week 1 preseason, it's only downhill from there. Maybe you can get 2 in a row. But that is the Broncos news for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys later with more Broncos news and rumors.